Welcome everyone, we are on the live from the studio. I'm with Sine Mountain today. Let me launch the intro. Hi everyone, I'm with Sine Mountain. Who do we have in the chat? Asso Alphaster, Asso Nautilus, Paco Guzman Music, Asso the Peronosphora, Sensor Music is here. What am I missing? Malaki, Alex Barnett, Intanfon, Schmuster. Welcome everyone. I'm with Sine Mountain. We'll do a little bit the news together. Hi Sine Mountain, how are you doing?
Hello. Good morning from Colorado.
All right. Okay, everybody know about my website, pitchymango.org. Please have a look at it. I want to thank all my supporters on Bandcamp. You can become a supporter to $20 a year. I've got 2 new supporters, I think, since the last time, bbhart and Actias. So please join them and you can get access to my music before I publicly release it. What I wanted to say is on the YouTube site, once you are finished, the next 2 shows are already there, so click on the reminder. So in the next show it's Intanfon, and after Carnalex, and after it will be free. So it's all lined up. You can already set up the reminders. News, I also did a demo and how to make quadraphonic using the new Shakmat Aeolus modules, and also using IntelliGel for your audio sound. So have a look. I've got also a Coma Porter guys, but they give you some tips and info on how to do quad. I'd like more people doing quad. And Sine Mountain, please feel free to interrupt, add something during the news.
You got it.
All right. Next event, Resident, is not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, which is on March 9. I've got a nice lineup: Pulpit, Alphaster, Tanuki Spider Cat, Brand Duart, Sinsor, and MIDI Script. Most of these people are on the chat. I see El Rochi join us, and Mike Thomas, and all that gone. Welcome. So let me
Franck, Franck,
yes.
so how many of those are you up to now on those Resident Electronics?
That's I think that's about 3 years that Resident exists.
Wow. When's the anniversary?
I don't know. We started in 2017, so I think the anniversary was sometime in October, November.
Well, congrats. That's awesome.
Yes.
I love that show.
Thank you. And you've been a couple of times on it, I think.
Yeah, actually with Malarkey, so it's been weird because like every time I've been on, Malarkey was on too. So I'm not gonna do it again until he does it again.
All right. So Malaki, here you go. So yeah, so the show is yeah, I think I've got most of the video from the performers. That looks very nice.
Sweet.
And it's a fun time, and it's easy to get on the show. Usually I publish on bandcamp the show in advance, and you've got the form where you can sign up, and then I put it on Facebook. After, you just need to do a 20-minute electronic music. Doesn't need to be modular synth, and you upload it on your YouTube as an unlisted video, and then I'll download it and we all watch it together and comment. And in the last one, Fez had set up a kind of a view room, then we could all hang out and talk to each other while the music was going on. It was a little bit a get-together experience.
I liked it last time I watched it. You had the reaction from everybody. You can actually hear people clapping, and it's been so long to actually hear real claps. It was really heartwarming. It was awesome.
All right, so yeah, thanks to Fez, who's a co-organizer, to have set up this room, and I was able to tune the audio so people could clap and comment on it.
That's rad.
We'll redo that not this Tuesday, the Tuesday after. The other show that we have is Peak, which is organized by Kezol and Richard. I don't know. I know when it is. It's on the third Wednesday, so it's in 3 weeks. The best way, I don't know who are the next performers. The last one were Sinsor and Marie-Anne Edonia, and that was quite cool. The best way is you go to Meetup Peak, and then you subscribe to it, and you get an email 1 or 2 days before. Surprise. And it's always an awesome show. What do we have? We've got Synesthesia was having a show this Sunday. They're doing a kind of a Black Lives Matter month. So each month I think they've got a different theme. So this month is Black Lives Matter, and they are doing a concert tuned into the Black Lives Matter Artist Showcase and Fundraiser on a Twitch account. That will be tomorrow Sunday from 4 to 9 p.m. PST. And I know that Sinsor is performing. I'm not sure who are all the other artists, but I know Sinsor and is here in the chat, and he can tell you some more.
Thanks, Sinsor. You're really getting out there this last few performances.
Yeah, I got kind of involved with Synesthesia, I think last year, because they usually go to Burning Man and they couldn't do it, and they were asking for artists. So that's how I did Burning Man. Remotely allow you to go many places. The next one that I've got in the news, so Soundwheels, which is a show by Arduck on KZDSU Stanford. It's every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. PST. It features a bunch of electronic music artists, and Sine Mountain was on it with the title The Journey.
Yeah, super psyched to have that one on there. I don't talk to people much about that album. I didn't promote it much, but it was cool that they played it on the radio. Real radio. Awesome.
Yes. And what Arduck does is that couple weeks later, you'll find it on his podcast. So you can find it on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever. I think the one that had just been released was the one Alphaster was on it. So that was like a month ago. So you will have some more of a Sine Mountain on the sound wheels in about a month on the podcast.
Just put it in the oven for a month and then take it out, and it's perfectly golden.
Awesome. The Trovacy just joined us, and Forestine, we need to learn. Mike Thomas, I don't know if I say. Rochi, welcome everyone. What do you have? Color Modular Synth Society. Have you heard of these people?
Yeah. They're up the street. Yeah. I drive by them every once in a while.
Let me put the link of the. And you've got a meetup this Sunday too?
Yeah, big meetup, huge meetup. It's our first meetup of 2021, and it is all about recording, mixing, and mastering modular synth music. So it's gonna be awesome. We'll have a panel of a bunch of smart people, and with lots of experience and different, views on mastering. And then we did a pre-recorded interview with Nathan Moody, who's been on your show before, right? And we talked to him. We talked to him for like 3 hours, but we we cut that down obviously because we don't have 3 hours to do that. So we're gonna play some snippets from that interview, and we'll all just take live questions about whether people have questions about recording and mastering the modular synth rigs. So yeah, that'll be fun.
That sounds cool. So it's tomorrow, 28. What time?
That's at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So so I guess that's
1 p.m. PST.
Yeah, PST. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think that's 8 p.m. Berlin. If I remember right. So anybody watching from Berlin, they can make it.
I set up my show at this time because it's not too late in Europe. And
that's our ideas too. Yeah. Let's do early shows so we can do other things and have our European and also our friends in the Pacific join too. So
yes, indeed. Well, in the Pacific, it's a little bit early. You have to wake up early if you want to watch it.
Yeah, but the sunsets, the sunrises are so great there. They're always awake, aren't they? I feel like they would. Why wouldn't you wake up early in the Pacific?
Yeah, or they haven't gone to bed yet.
That too, exactly. Why would you go? Why would you sleep at all? Let's keep going.
Yes.
To everybody in Hawaii and Australia. Holla.
All right. Next one. So Wabi Sabi has released a single, and I've heard that it's gonna be part of an album. So here, Building Glass Houses. And because I'm talking about Bandcamp, so the next Bandcamp Friday is this Friday on the 5th of March. This is a time where Bandcamp do not collect any money for themselves and pass it all to the artist.
We forgot to announce it when I'm supposed to work on the flyer today, but we are going to be back doing our Bandcamp listening party for modular synth artists on Friday evening, and that is a late start. That is we start at 7 or 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and we'll be listening to a bunch of albums and promoting modular synth artists so people can go check out and support them. So we'll be doing something for that as well for CMSS YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you got the link for the Colorado Modular Synth Society. From there you find their YouTube channels and you hop in. And the tip for Bandcamp Friday is you've got the wish list. So you put all your album in a wish list, and when come Bandcamp Friday, then you break the piggy bank. Sometimes people get, I saw this release, but then I have to wait for Bandcamp Friday, and then I forgot about it. Put them in your wish list.
Yeah.
Next album, Ryoko Kleiger or Cult of One has released a new track. So she's back. She's back. So Cult of Wine is back, and she's starting to do several tracks and I think some albums. So check it out.
She did a set. She did a set. Freak Boutique last for February's Freak Boutique, WMD's Freak Boutique, and it was awesome. It was rad. So she's definitely back.
And for the people who don't know about Freak Boutique, so that's run by WMD and
Yeah, that's
Clarke
right.
and supported by Colorado Modular Synth Society. So I guess you go on your website and find the sign up form, and if Nasty Nachos likes it, then you're in.
Well, actually, it's a lottery system. So even if he doesn't like it, you're in. So, but
Perfect.
he loves everything. Yeah. So and it's usually the Monday before your show. So it's for the everybody who likes to stay up late on the weekdays. It's perfect. But yeah, modular nerdiness.
Yeah, no, it's a cool show. I did one and it was awesome. And yeah, it's another show if you want to perform. Quite neat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the sign up form and all the information is on the crowd. Where was Einbach has released another album. I think he's prolific at the moment.
Yeah, that guy needs to slow down. I'm just trying to catch up with all the stuff he's doing. I mean, he's working on apps. He's making new videos. He's dropping albums and sound libraries.
Oh yes, from his I don't know testing
Crazy.
equipment.
Yeah, exactly. His totem of test equipment.
From his and spy equipment apparently also.
Well, yeah. So, real quick story about that. So, we got a chance to do a show with him in Colorado once because he was out here and he was meeting up with uh this guy named Morph Beats who makes these really amazing drums and bells and this really cool art kind of thing, percussion instruments. And while he was here, he had a bunch of test equipment shipped out to Colorado while he was here because it was cheaper to get it and pick it up. So he ended up playing a show. We ended up just like doing an impromptu show together, and he just basically just showed up with the test equipment he just got shipped earlier that week, and he did, he had some tape, like a tape player and that, and he just played this show, and it was pure magic. Uh, but that was before he built the totem when he was still building on his arsenal of test equipment. Yeah, pretty
That's,
amazing.
yeah, that's interesting. Find this old I don't know oscillators, testing equipment.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always worried that like it's radioactive. I'm like, where was this before you picked it up?
I think I tried to suggest to him, but I don't know if it reached him. I think he should redo Two Butterfly from Pauline Oliveros. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
if he
if
gets
you,
around to it.
yeah, I don't know if you heard to it, but it's two oscillator, but they are in non-audible frequency. But when you put them together, then they have got some, I don't know, they merge, and then the frequency goes in the audible range.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And she did
Yeah,
that, I don't know, it was in the 60s, 70s, so early experiment of electronic music.
that's awesome. I'll have to check that out.
So I think that would be cool if you did a cover song, if you like it, of Two Butterfly.
I love it. That's a cool cover song. That's super nerdy cover song. That'd be fun.
Yes. Um, so next one, I think that was a suggestion from you, so from Yodis.
Oh yeah, Yodius has a new album out. He's
Uh,
one of those guys that like one of the very early people I met when COVID hit and I started going on Discord. So it's been awesome to see his music come out. Yeah, the New York scene's got all kinds of cool cats out there, and he's one of those people that I think he was on their Discord and I found out about. Anyhow, yeah, his new album's cool. I just checked it out the other day.
awesome, and I'm not following him. Oh, come. So here we go. No, I'm following him. No, I was following him. Okay, you know my email address now. Next one from Omri Cohen, Meditation Spores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was
There's
recently
another prolific artist right there,
that
Omri.
was recently released also, and there is this guy that released an album called Fomalhaut.
Yes. Fomalhaut. Yeah, exactly. Which is going to be free today. I put that out. I put my Fomalhaut album for free today. So if you're watching, head over to Bandcamp and download it for free. All I ask is that you leave a comment whether you liked it or not. That would be super helpful to have that feedback on there. But yeah, go get it, everybody. It's one of my most prized albums that I worked on. So, and well, you can't see it back there, but there's the art.
Yeah, and
So
the
yeah,
art is quite awesome, and that's very nice of you to release it for free. And yes, even if you have bought it before or if you're getting it, putting a comment is very useful and helpful to everybody. That's, I repeat, to bring it up into the Bandcamp promotion system. So leave a comment. Yeah. So when you do the Bandcamp Friday, don't forget to come back and leave a comment, even if it's like 2 words. It's nice. It shows to other people activity and they get interested and they'll try it.
yeah, and I'll say one thing about that too. I think a lot of us who put out music have a hard time describing our own music without, because we're worried it's going to sound vain or maybe just out of place or just feels uncomfortable to talk about your own music. So when other people tell you what the music sounds like, that makes it easier for us to explain it to other people. Like I could say, well, people say it sounds spacey or it sounds dark or whatever. So it's good to get that feedback. It really, I think it helps all artists to hear that.
Oh yes, definitively. Because you have to put the right tag into your music to make sure that it's getting in the right classification so it gets discovered. And I don't know what kind of music I make.
Yeah, you tell me, everybody, because I am too close to it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Sinemountain.com website.
Yeah, which needs to be updated for sure. So apologies if it looks dated. I've been working on
Making
other
music.
things. I'm not making enough music, that's for sure. I've definitely been busy, but like, yeah, I've learned a lot that I am not an amazing website designer. And I'm just okay at live streaming. I didn't get into it for this, but yeah, I didn't get that. So if anybody wants to help me with that website, holla.
Yeah, I know the feeling. No, I've got my website and I selected a theme, and people are, what the hell is that? I say, yeah, well, it's my style. Makes people
This is
remember
not.
it.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So let me start by the first question. So, Saint Mountain, who are you?
Who am I? What am I doing here? Um, no, so yeah, I go by Sine Mountain. My real name's David Soto. I live out here in Colorado. I've been into music, obviously, like most of you, in for most of my life. I was doing like a lot of hip hop stuff. I just do punk rock and hip hop as like a teenager and in my 20s. I was into DJing when I was in my 30s. That sounds funny to say. And I used to DJ a lot, and I had like a residency in Denver for a little bit, for about 7 years, and then I uh, had a family. I got married, and I got like a real serious job, and so I took a break from making music and playing music, and then I started getting depressed because I was not doing anything creative. So I decided to get back into music. I actually it was at a friend's birthday party. Josh Powers. He's a musician out here in Colorado too, and he uh, was showing me some. some cool little like Cork stuff, the when the Volca stuff, like the early Cork stuff, and then so I looked into that. I was like, oh, I think I'll get some of this really cheap stuff. My idea at the time was I was gonna see if I can buy a bunch of equipment or a bunch of music stuff that was under $100. Like I wouldn't buy anything that was over $100, and I would get some, Cork stuff, some DIY stuff, some the teenage engineering uh, PO boxes. PO boxes is hilarious. The teenage engineering calculators, and I was looking at all kinds of stuff, and I was like buying a bunch of like random little things, but it wasn't really cutting it yet. But I was still really honed in on the fact that I didn't want to use a computer. That was like the main thing. I just wanted something tactile. My job was with a computer. I wanted to do something that that I could just use my hands on. I could just like turn on and start playing, and then something would happen. Well, in that research for those, what else is out there, I came across Eurorack videos, and obviously, like anybody else, it's like, whoa, that's crazy. It looks really weird. I don't know anything about it. We don't have a shop in Colorado, so there's nowhere to go check it out. I had never seen anybody actually play any of that instrument before, but I really went down the rabbit hole looking at those videos, and my friends who knew a lot about synthesizers, um, I was asking them questions if they knew anything about it, and they were all giving me the warning of like, don't go down that path. It seems really expensive. But I didn't listen to any of that advice, and I ended up getting an O Coast, and that was like pretty big deal. I was like, wow, and really enjoyed that. And then soon after, a really strange thing happened where um so so I had my friend I was talking to about Eurorack like over and over again, and he was definitely not going to get into it, but he would humor me and listen to me talk about it. So he uh he called me up one day, and he was at a pawn shop, and he's like, you won't believe it, they have a ton of this Eurorack stuff you've been talking about sitting in a case here. And I was like, what? So I drove over there to go check it out, and sure enough, there was like this elite case full of modules in there, and the people behind were like, we don't know, they were calling it a stereo mixer. They're like, we don't know how the stereo mixer works, but like we'll sell it for like $1,000. So I was like, that's really amazing, like a whole case. And I had seen enough of the modules to know that like $1,000 was way too low. And and then I looked up the case, and the case itself was like $1,000, and I was like, this is weird. So I was thinking, this is like crazy luck, to get this, and because the people behind in the shop didn't know what it was. I mean, obviously, like there's all these flags going up, like, this doesn't seem like someone would like give this away for $1,000. That seems like a pretty bad deal. But you never know, because I know situations where people were in bad situations and they did have to do stuff like that. So I wasn't sure. But I was looking at the modules, and it started to dawn on me that they were almost all WMD modules. And then I started to think about like, wait a minute, didn't I just see a video for this module that's coming out this year? How's it already here? And then there were some other modules that didn't have anything on them, but they were like they looked like prototypes. So then I was definitely worried about it. And then so I told him I put money down on it, and I said, I'm gonna put money down so nobody takes it. And so put money down on it, and then I sent an email to WMG and said, hey, listen, I don't know if this is what's going on here, if someone stole them from you, if somebody's from your companies, like, in a bad spot, whatever. I just wanted to like give you a heads up on it. And don't worry, it's not going anywhere. I put money on it so no one can pick it up. It's like in the back now. It's in the back of the pawn shop. No one can see it. It's out of view. They hit me up, and they were like, holy schmolies, like that was stolen from one of our guys at a performance like over a month ago, and we just thought we weren't gonna find it. We called every pawn shop, and none of them had it. So how it got there after they stopped searching for it, that's what happened. So I was like, well, it's here. It's totally here. So they called in, got their insurance, and they got the police to come pick it up. I got my money back for putting it down. And I felt good about it because she was like, cool, right? I didn't
You
buy any
did.
stolen stuff, and they got their stuff back and whatever. And then they called me up and they said, well, come on down, we want to meet you. So me and my friend Josh went down to the WMD, and which is here in Denver. And I met William and Alex and Matt and some other people that worked there, and we were uh, they were like, thanks so much, that was awesome. And I was like, oh, it's all good, it's whatever, I can sleep good at night, it's all worth it. So they said, well, here you go, here's a module, thanks so much. And that's when they just had come out with the Chimera. So the Chimera had just come out, so they gave me that, and I was like, oh wow, this is my first module, like my real first module. I gotta go buy a rack now. I gotta really invest in this now. I gotta some power in the rack. So I did, and so so for a long time, all I had was my little happy ending kit, my little Chimera, and then my no coast and uh, the uh, the teenage engineering calculators, and that was like my setup. That was like how I started, and I just was. I also had like a DJ mixer with a reverb on it, so I was able to make some strange noises right off the bat. But anyhow, it was like a really amazing like thing to happen, and so I at that point I knew I was really invested in it, and I was like going to be doing modular synth stuff, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna uh, I'm going to do it. And my friend Josh, who I've been mentioning, and he was such a part of the journey. I was, telling him like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually try to get to a point where I can perform live. I had been so long since I had done anything live. And he said, that sounds cool. Well, I'm actually like going to drive out to Grand Junction, which is like, I think like 3 or 4 hours from Denver. So I'm gonna drive up to Grand Junction and go pick up this. I think he's gonna pick up some sort of desktop synth or whatever. He's like, "Yep, I'm just driving up the Sine Mountain," and I'm like, "I'm gonna use that name." I think that was like a really funny thing he said. I thought I'm gonna use that name because one, it's my friend said it, who's like been a part of this whole journey with me, and I really thought that was like kind of a cool name. So that's how like Side Mountain became Sound Mountain, and yeah, and that was 2018, 19. Can't remember, right around that area. So
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
cool.
so that's kind
That's a cool
of that's
name
how I
because
started.
Denver the mountain and then sign for the
Yeah,
oscillators,
yeah.
and they come from a friend. Sometimes that's how you find it. I saw some new people joining up. I saw Carn Alex. I don't know. I saw a few people joining up. Welcome. Also, if you've got questions for Sign Mountain, please post them in the chat. People enjoyed this story, and it seems that a few people had that kind of the similar path, going to maybe semi-modular and then getting a module. But also, I think you had that the mixer with a reverb. I always tell people, you need to have a reverb to get a little bit of, a nice sound. The no cost or the Mother 32 is nice, but just add it a reverb, and then you get into something that you can start to listen well.
Yeah, I think it really does kind of opens it up, and even the smallest of synths, the simplest of synths will sound more interesting with the delay or reverb right off the bat. You start thinking, oh, this is cool. This is yeah. This could actually be something. It's where a lot of wheels start turning.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, about half past or 11:30. So that's usually when I put the performance. You check first if anybody has got any question, or I'll ask them after. You want to introduce your performance, or I just play it and we talk
Oh,
about it
sure,
after?
sure. So this is something that I had actually created a little bit earlier, and I've been holding on to for a while because I wasn't really sure. I was gonna maybe use it somewhere down the line, but I ended up just kind of been holding on to it. And to be honest with you, I ended up putting it in a hard drive to kind of like not look at it for a little bit. and this is something that I've been the idea behind this patch is two things. One, I was looking at patches that are presets on other synths and try to like reverse engineer them onto the synth to see if I can do something similar and what that would sound like with my oscillators and filters. So that's part of it. Another part of it was I was using samples from a good friend of mine who made a bunch of samples from his synth rig. So I wanted to try that, listening to like other people's experiments. And there were just little FM glitches and stuff. And then the other thing I wanted to do was try to play more and try to be the sequencer, old school. So yeah, so that's kind of what you're gonna see in this is those three ideas. That was the intent, and then what it would end up being is the music is coming out of that intention. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm going to launch it and we'll chat some more after. that was really nice. Thank you very much, Sine Mountain, for this performance.
Thank you. I call that one Arctic Rush.
Arctic Rush?
Arctic Rush. Yeah, it was pretty cold when I made that.
Oh, all right. Guess it's getting a little bit warmer. So, uh, was the cold the whole inspiration for this piece?
It's funny. So my two big pieces of inspiration is either space or birds. And currently in winter, when you want to see any of those things, you have to go outside. And so obviously, I think weather is starting to play a big role into my music too, because I definitely will like dream up these like kind of like icy landscape ideas, motifs I've kind of come up with a lot of my music where like spacious, imagining tundras, wind blowing over, snow kind of a vibe. So that's kind of like it does start to play a role. Now that I'm saying it out loud, yeah, definitely weather plays a role. And then come summertime, I don't use those elements as much. So yeah, so kind of. So yes and no.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw a few people were asking, about some of the modules, especially the fighting monks.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very important thing. You gotta make a good environment. Yeah, these are. Someone said something about the monks, so I pull them out. These cool ones. This is my cool like drunken master one. I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, I got those when I was, I think, 20 some years old. I went to Seattle and found this cool um, store that sold a bunch of Chinese herbs and stuff, and they had a few of those in the corner, and I picked them up. Yeah, they've been hanging out with me ever since.
That's cool.
Inspired me to get to it, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
but no, yeah, but I think there was a couple of questions about the workflow in there. So,
yes.
just to clarify, like, yeah, this setup right now is definitely wasn't the setup I used then. I think probably switch out my modules, configuration wise, probably every 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So I've already started to like break it down. Um, but basically, with that one, what I had going on is I have the vector sequencer hooked up to the Launchpad Mini, which was in keyboard mode, and I was able to play uh, my synth voice in here. And the idea behind the synth voice was I have two oscillators. I have the WTF oscillator by Dub Audio, and then I have the Synthesis Technologies E350. Those are doing wave. Actually, right now, all I have is wavetable oscillators. But in that case, I had the idea behind that one was to have one like in a saw, like a sawtooth ish kind of range, and then the other one modulating the the wavetable on the WTF, and then mixing those two in together into the VCA. And I was using some the envelope, couple envelopes. I have a chronology, has a few envelopes, and I had that going through another VCA two, which was picking which one uh, was going to be sent to the modulation. But those modulations wouldn't fire until I played a note. So yeah, so I had the trigger from the sequencer triggering the note, but also triggering different envelopes. So you have some variation. So while it's kind of theoretically it's kind of a simple patch, um, there was a lot of like little variations, and then obviously like a lot of things weren't going to kick off until I actually hit the key, which is part of the idea there to like kind of be more in touch with the music and less sequencing. And then I had another sequence that already kind of lined up on a different track, playing the Blowfield, which was actually kind of the preset that I was kind of mimicking a little bit. The Blowfield's one of those things I've just recently got, and I've been really enjoying like screwing around with it. And then going back and forth when what have I tried here, and what can I try on here? What can I try take from here and reverse engineer it and put it in there? So it's kind of funny. So those have a relationship. So that's kind of playing. That was kind of playing some cool little like bassy-ish kind of like line there. And then I have a little setup here that I actually don't touch too often, but it's all my modular drums is in the corner here, and I run that with a Metron, and then the Metron was also like a locked into the micro, and that had the Metron on a bunch of what I do a lot of times with like the Metron is I'll set up um, different lengths, and then I'll set up different randomness on those. So there's the randomness, there's different length sizes, and that'll just kind of trigger some percussions in there. So it's a little more sporadic, um, and comes in and out and goes. A lot of these, especially like whenever I'm trying to, I don't do a lot of dance music anymore, or attempt to do any dance music, or use beats as much anymore. But for what I do, I want to kind of make sure there's like those little fills and drops and little bits and pieces, so that so the it's not necessary. I wouldn't say it evolves, but it definitely is like kind of just changing a little bit. So if you're gonna listen to the whole 16 minutes of it, like at least it won't sound super repetitive, which
Yeah, I
isn't
was
a bad thing, but yeah.
yeah, I was curious about how your DJ experience is. You're using it into your music.
Yeah, if you look at like some of the earlier stuff that I was doing, um, I think last year before the pandemic, I was really starting to play around more with more like kind of brain dance music. I was playing with like the 200 BPMs, and I was doing some house stuff, and I was always just kind of like trying to like break it down and do like work on transitions and try to do 3 songs in 15 minutes, and which is super fun and a really great exercise to do, and has some cool results. And but I've been like moving away a little bit away from that this recently, and who knows what I'll go back into. So I think that particular performance is pretty cool in the sense that like it's got a little bit of both of like what I've been working on and trying to explore with the more or less being a little looser with the with the with the
Yes,
melodies or whatever. So
yeah. Some people were saying it's a chill or super mellow, and
yeah, yeah,
it's quite nice. I know. It was making me
yeah.
think of what's Buddha Bar. You go to a lounge and you play this music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
yeah. No, to chill, the chill. I I'm been really lucky to be surrounded by a lot of people. Travarsi's in the chat here who are really good at Wiki wanted to get up and dance and this, and I'm like I don't think I could do that. Too, that's that's a lot of responsibility. I'm just gonna chill out. I'm just gonna
yes.
chill. So, I don't want to have to play after her, as everybody will fall asleep. No, so yeah, it's I'm like kind of like, but okay, sounds like the chill ambient jazz that I'm kind of into. So we'll see. Yeah,
Um, Also, I don't know, swapping a different subject. I guess. So don't forget, if you want to ask questions to Sine Mountain, just put them on the chat, and don't forget to, I don't know, subscribe, follow, like, everything. Wanted to swap a little bit to a different subjects on the Colorado Modular Synth Society. Oh wait, before that, I've got a question from peronosphora. Um, Are there any experimental direction in your music that you would like to explore more?
absolutely. Yeah, good question. So I had a conversation with Jogging House at the beginning of the year, and talking to him and understanding his workflow and his he doesn't really have sequencers in his setup. He's really off the grid, and that's something that I think that was an interest in my mind. But after hearing him talk about it, it really really made me want to try to do that more. And so I actually I'm talking to a few people and trying to do some collaborations where it is sort of like I'm talking to people who also don't work on the grid and thinking about like how would that like just having those conversations and getting inspired by that. So I think um which is this is funny because the thing is like I just got the vector sequencer, not that long ago. And it's everything I wanted to have in a sequencer. And at the same time, I'm just now getting into a point where I kind of don't want to use a sequencer anymore. But I was super lucky because the vector sequencer has the keyboard functions and allows me to do a lot of non-sequencing things, because it's just so versatile that way. So it's kind of funny. I'm not using the sequencing part of it as much as I used to. In fact, this recently, the track I'm working right now, I I'm just loading up felt piano, and I'm just sitting and playing and practicing, playing little riffs, and that's something that I picked up from talking to Omri Cohen. He did this album on his Bandcamp. Is totally amazing, where he just did like a bunch of piano pieces, and he told me the way he did that is he wrote the compositions, he practiced them, and then he recorded them, you know, and that's all. That was his whole intent, just like come up with a composition, play it live, record it, and then he was kind of done with it, and he never went back. He didn't chop them up, whatever. I'm not going to do that, but I did love the idea of the exercise of trying to like be a little bit more spontaneous and let the humanness come back, the human, like, sound of playing those melodies or whatever come back into the recorded pieces. So I'm okay if it doesn't always sound perfect anymore. I'm letting that go. I'm as as I've heard, it's just something I think that like I just need to do. I might go back to like the grid, um, in other tracks, and there's nothing wrong with that. I really do like playing on the grid and exploring that, but it is actually kind of fun to just let the recordings be the way they are. So that's so long answer to that question. Yes, I'm looking to like do some more experimenting and letting that go. For sure.
That was
I hope
interesting about sequencer because I don't know, like for instance, um, yeah, I'm also ambivalent about sequencer, like dumb sequencer, not the one that have got plenty memory and recall patch.
mm-hmm.
And Travasi say also that doing a bit like you, or it's on the same path of trying to do more generative patch. So
Yeah,
looks like you
yeah.
need you need to share notes.
Oh yeah, well definitely. We'll I mean, sneak preview when we do our next space music show. We're gonna have Travarsi's gonna be on there, and she's gonna do something that she hasn't done before, by getting into that realm. So it's awesome to see her doing that stuff. It's awesome to see anybody kind of breaking their old mold. I feel like, and this is just an observation. It's not obviously like a general truth or anything like that, but I know a lot of people who were in other styles of music, who were doing other sorts of genres of music, got into modular and found themselves doing something way more experimental. Even people who thought that they wanted to do, like, I want to sound like A, B, or C, they get into it and then they realize they have their own sound, or their modules kind of drive them into a different area. And before they know it, they're like kind of, they broke their mold, and then we kind of get a little comfortable, or we start getting an idea and we get kind of in a zone, or recently more because the live performances made people kind of assume you're going to do something and you feel like you want to live up to that, so you're going to do your sound right. And so it's kind of funny, like you broke a mold getting in the modular, and then you started a new mold. So it's always cool to see people break it again, because there's no rules, right? There's no wrong way or right way to doing it. So you give yourself permission to like do something else with the something else that you started out with.
Yeah, that's interesting. Peronosphora say you're on your way to reach Wabi Sabi. Not Wabi Sabi the artist, but the state of mind.
Hey, Bobby Sabi, the artist, is pretty good. I watched this stuff. That would be a compliment too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I think
that's
he's on
funny.
the chat, maybe.
I think I
Um,
think it was earlier. Yeah,
yes,
his
maybe
stuff's
he's
awesome.
listening.
Yeah, but yeah, I think there's a lot of room for experimenting, and I'll be honest, like some days I do want to just kind of come down here and just put the floor on the floor and see what happens and just kind of chill out with that. And I'm totally cool with that too. There's
Yeah,
that, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's funny how selecting the module define your music. In the beginning you pick up a bunch of random modules, and then eventually you these are the modules that I like. Then
hmm
they start to
hmm
define your music. They start to define you.
yeah.
Interesting.
It's funny, like I I thought for sure that I would be less sentimental about some of these modules than I am, and it's hard to switch them out. Um, you know, like I thought I would. It's funny 'cause I always give people advice to start. Don't you're gonna switch out your modules. It's totally okay. You don't have to commit to it. But going back to something we were talking about earlier, I get so attached to stories, and I think about, oh, I got that module from my friend Mike Thomas, and Mike Thomas doesn't live here anymore, and I really miss Mike, and so I don't want to sell this module because it makes me think of Mike. Which is something you should totally not do, or else you'll never like swap out your modules.
Well, it's okay.
Uh,
You can remove them from your rack and then put them in the closet and then come back to it later.
that's true. You totally can. But I'm trying to be budget savvy.
Yes.
That's always like I've heard that people say, "Oh yeah, you just don't worry, you just put them in your little library." I'm like, yeah, not everybody can afford a library. Some of us they want to
Yeah,
retire
well,
early.
don't do that for all modules. Just a few of them.
Just a few, I get it. Yeah, yeah. It's there's a balance. There's always a balance for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. To finish a little bit the show, let's talk a bit about Colorado Modular Society.
Yeah, so Colorado Modular Synth Society, these are new stickers that I'm selling on my website, self promotion.
And I put the link to the
Yeah, put
website,
the
and I've
link
got
on
the
there.
website
Yeah.
on.
Um, yeah, so that was actually started by another person here in the community, um, John Mosier, and he started it because he was getting interested in getting into modular and he wanted to see if other people were into it. And then I joined shortly after, and then I wanted to start doing meetups because I wanted to actually have conversations with people. So I did a meetup. I think the first one had like 4 or 5 people in it in a little small studio. I decided to do it again and then start doing it monthly, and that ended up being like 30 to 40 people um, per meetup. Once a month. I was trying to really stick with the once a month thing, and it kind of took off. And then we just kept on evolving, and then I changed the name of the group, and and then added, got someone to do the artwork, and then made a website and all this stuff, and then started doing events, um, and started doing shows, and then did a festival in 2019, and that was crazy. Like, yeah, it just kept on getting bigger and bigger, and it was just all because the people out here were so amazing that you put an idea out there, and all of a sudden they're like, "Sweet, let's do it. Want to do it? Want to do a show? I'll play. I'll help with the sound. I'll help with get the word out, whatever." And just all volunteer based, and we were able to do so much. And the festival was like really at the apex of that because we had like a 12-hour festival of music with outdoors and all this cool stuff. And anyhow, it was really awesome. And then the pandemic hit, and we pivoted to going online, and now it's entered a new world where we have people um, involved in our society and in performing on our shows and joining our meetups and from around the world. And it's been awesome to meet and talk to people like yourself and do all this kind of stuff. The whole idea behind this whole thing was that I just, as somebody who was in the basement by myself trying to learn it, I just felt for anybody else who's in that situation, and I wanted to create an area or a community that would, you know, let people not feel so alone, because that that can just build on other things, on mental health. And so I just wanted to make sure people are finding a way to be creative and find a community, and be okay with that, so that they can stay mentally healthy as well as like artistically healthy. So that's kind of like the the core of it. You know, we focus on modular synths because it's something that we can just really laser focus on and kind of talk about. There's Rocky Mountain Rocky Mountain Synthesizer meetup. They've been here for much longer, and that is an amazing. That's run by Mark Mosher, and he does an amazing job. But he's covering Ableton, he's covering synthesizers and drum boxes and everything else, and so he's he's got that whole thing covered, and we just zero in on the modular stuff, and we have this really fun relationship with each other where I get on the Eurorack cats and he gets everybody else, but we're all friends and we hang out. So it's well, we used to hang out more before COVID. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The silver lining of the pandemic is that all this society or group started to know each other a little bit better, and also via the Discord and things like that.
Yeah.
To,
So
and to
and since
interact.
then,
Go ahead.
Since well, we always knew that we were going to have people from out of state be a part of our society because the surrounding states didn't have a large communities, or they weren't organized at that point. So we were always excited to like have our friends from Nebraska or Texas or New Mexico like hang out and be a part of it. And some even like have driven up or stopped by for meetups or shows. So that was always the point to like become more regional. Now it's just kind of like we just put that on steroids, and now it's worldwide. So now I just tell people that if you join the group, you're pretty much like honorary Coloradoan. So get your sticker because like you're part of the group, even though if you're not in Colorado or even in Denver. We have a lot of people who aren't in Denver. We have a bunch of people who are in the mountains who perform. We have people down south of Denver. So it's really is spread out. It's pretty awesome that way.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
We are I don't know. We have past 12 o'clock. So it's time to wrap up the show. What are your upcoming projects?
Yeah. So the few things that we're working on right now is obviously the meetups. We got the meetups, and I'm working a lot on that. A lot of events we're committing to at least one event every fourth Sunday. So that takes up a lot of my time. I have another space show happening in April, and then I have the festival coming up probably in July. We're talking about whether we do a compilation, if I do some more gear. These stickers, honestly, that took up a lot of time to get those all wrapped up. So selling those, and so there's a lot of like stuff that I'm doing that's not me making music stuff. The me stuff, I have a few hours worth of material. I'm working on an album right now that it's gonna be called Stars Named After Birds. And that's going to be a really interesting piece. I'm really excited to show that. It's going to that has a lot more. It'll be my first album where I multi-tracked the recording, and I did a lot of more production in post in there. And it's going to be definitely a deeper dive into some ideas I have about space and birds.
Well, we're looking forward to it. And I guess if we follow you on Bandcamp, then we'll get the announcement.
Yes, follow me on Bandcamp, and definitely, if you wouldn't mind, go check out my YouTube. I think I get like 14 views on my videos, but there's some neat stuff on there. I think that I think people might get into. I guess I just say that because I think if you think you can't do it, watch me, and you'll say, "Oh, I can do that." So you can do it.
You open your YouTube channel too, and I'll put the link.
Yeah. See if we can break 15 views.
Well,
that's all good.
But before snow, I've got a little bit more. But yeah, I know the feeling. And you need a couple of more subscribers so you can have a customized URL. So please, everybody, come on Side Mountain and subscribe.
One can dream.
Subscribe. You need what, like 11 more subscribing. I've got got 20 people here, so everybody subscribe to Sine Mountain on YouTube, and we are done here.
Yeah.
All right, so let me change a little bit the setup here, so I can put back the news. There we go. All right, so we can go back and redo the news. Check everything, and my manager is telling me that we should go to Colorado soon. Here we go.
Oh yes, you're welcome. We will have a party and you will play.
Yeah, my informal manager is a peronosphora.
Mm-hmm.
So she said she would like to go to Colorado, so we should do
Beautiful.
that.
Yes.
As soon as we can. All right. Let's go back. pitchymango.org, that's my site. I've got all the link to everything, and also I change it a little bit so you can see all the concert and event, and all this live stream are showing up now. So you can also see where they are and get all the information from my site for the show I'm doing. I would like to thank all my supporters on Bandcamp. This is a little bit my Patreon side of things. I use Bandcamp. You can join it for $20 a year. You've got access to all the music and all the stuff that are still unreleased or that maybe I never released. Exclusive. And I've got 2 supporters that joined since last time, bbhart, and it's awesome. Can I get more supporters, please? I put on my YouTube channel. You've got the next show lineup, so you've got Intan Fun and Carnal Lex. So I've got next show. This is this one. So Intan Fun will be Saturday, 13th of March. So it's in 2 weeks. Going to be awesome. Back that. So you can come here and then set the reminder on, and you will be notified from. And I did a couple of demonstrations also on my YouTube channel about quadraphonic. So I'd like more people to join the bug of quadraphonic and buy more than 2 speakers and do all this kind of stuff. There's some new module from Checkmat that makes quadraphonic really easy. You no longer need to buy a booklet to do some quadraphonic music. You can do it on your eurorack. All right, Bay Improviser. Not Bay Improviser. Resident is in 2 weeks on March 9, Tuesday, March 9 at 8 p.m. We've got Pulpit, Alphaster, Tanuki, Spidercat, Reanduart, Sensor, MIDI Script. This is an event organized with Jason Warden and Fez. You've got Peak also that is going to be in 3 weeks on Wednesday. I don't know who are the next artists, but it's always awesome and it's always a surprise. The best way is you sign up on Meetup to follow it. Travasi contacted me during the show and she said we've got Mobap showcase on March 6th from 1 p.m. to 3:30 PST. I'll put the YouTube link here, and if you want to know more information, just ask Travasi. I think she's in the chat, so she can tell you more about it. And I see a nice bunch of artists. Should I try to say their name? Ooh, Kipsy 98, Danger Zone, yes, CVD, OP3, Kins Ventas, Clarke, Rookworm, B-Boy Tech, Voltage Control.
It's a mod baptism to go with that. You will get so much mod baptism. It's gonna be awesome.
That sounds what Southern California Synth Society is doing is always awesome. So cool. Follow it up. Have you done the mod bap? Sorry.
No, I it's funny. Like I at some point I will take some time to do some mod bap because I have my background is in producing hip hop, and I was in hip hop groups. In the early 2000s. So I used to drop bars. Really strange. I used to be one of those like abstract rappers.
I watched the YouTube video I just got released on the French channel of Bob Sinclair vinyl collection and how his origin were all in the rap. And rap, hip hop, and funk. But that was interesting that what brought in was
Yeah,
rap.
yeah. Jogging House was into hip hop too. We were talking about that. It's funny like how you're into one thing and then you're kind of known for doing or you end up doing something completely on the other end of the spectrum. So it's pretty. But yeah, I will do some mop app at some point. But I gotta get myself a performer. I gotta get some. I have ideas, but if I do it, I might actually drop some bars. I might actually like rap on top of it because I think that's where I would feel probably like full circle.
All right. So Trovasi,
Yeah.
here you go. You got. We want to hear Sine Mountain doing some rap.
Yeah, you might dig it.
And hip hop and singing.
Yeah, that might happen one day too. I mean, everything's on the table.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one is Synesthesia is having a Black Lives Matter month, and I've got every month a different theme, and there is a show which is tomorrow, Friday 28th, from 4 to 9 p.m. PST on their Twitch feed. Next month will be Women's Rights, April it's Earth Month, May Mental Health, and January was COVID-19 relief, so please follow it. It's tomorrow, and I know that Sinsor is performing. I'll put also this terrible link, but this is from Stanford KZDSU. Ardek does a show every week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. It's called Sound Wheels. But plenty interesting electronic experimental music, and Sine Mountain was on it. Woo!
Yeah, that was so fun. I love those.
So, and in a couple of weeks, you should find the replay of this show on your favorite podcast service. And I think he just released, Ardek just released the show that there's a track from Alpha Step. And you've got the Colorado Modular Synth Society meetup. You've got one tomorrow also.
Mm-hmm.
It's tomorrow.
2 p.m. Mountain Time.
2 p.m. Mountain Time, so 1 p.m. PST. Yes?
Oh yeah, I was just saying the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please check it out. It's gonna be cool. On the Bandcamp site, so you've got Wabi Sabi, who's released a new track which is called Building Glass House. You've got Cult of One, which has got a new track, Neo Metropolis 88. Oops. Einbach has released. Sorry. Getting confused in all the key. Einbach has released a new album which is Landfill Totem. Yodi's album is Reaching Out. Meditation Spore from Omrico N also. And finally, Formalhaut from Sine Mountain.
Which is free today to download. Download it for free. Yes, close your eyes and check it out.
Check it out, download it, and leave a comment after what you think about it. Please. Maybe just one word is enough.
That's fine. Yeah. A power word, hopefully.
Power word. Okay, so leave a power word.
Leave a power word. that should just be our call every time. Leave a power word. That's all.
Yeah, that's all you need. You don't need to be a poet.
Yeah. We don't need it.
Just leave one power word.
You don't have to write a novella, and it's okay.
Yes. All right. Let's come back to it. I'm changing things around. Going back to this setup. Yes. That today we had at Sine Mountain. All right. So, got the word for the end, and we say bye to everybody. That was really awesome to see everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and become a supporter. Subscribe to Sine Mountain channel. He needs 11 more people so he can have a decent URL on his YouTube. So please, I shouldn't be too hard. Come on. So Sine Mountain.
I'm begging for a vanity URL.
All right.
that's what stage I am at, people. Help me.
Help. All
Thank you
right.
so much. I appreciate it. This has been so much fun, and it's been. Thanks for letting me interrupt you. So, enjoying your news section and everything. It's been really fun.
Thanks, Sine Mountain, for being here today. That was really awesome, an awesome conversation, and really enjoy your origin story. That's quite a very interesting story. I don't know, when you write your memoir, you're ready. You got some stories.
That'd be funny. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Thanks everyone for joining the show. The next one is within Intern Fun in about 2 weeks. Intern Fun in about 2 weeks. And I was with the Sine Mountain. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.
Peace.